Good evening, everyone. Let's wait for 5 minutes to join others. Meanwhile, we will starting unit 4 here. Unit 4 is nothing but the leadership and communication process. We already finished the leadership role attributes. Today, we will discuss about communication process. Okay. Hello. Okay. So, start unit 4 communication process. Let me share my screen. So, communication process. First, you have to understand what is communication, and the second is the process. Communication is when you want to give some information to others, or you want to receive some information others. So that is called communications, which transfer of information. So that is in the two ways. One is for giving, one is for receiving. So for overview, we will be discussing these things in our upcoming slides. Definitions of communications. What is definitions? We will to be discussed. Elements of the communication process. Cross-cultural communications. descriptive, effective, and active listenings. What is this? Then identify deterrents to effective listenings, identify methods of enhancing listenings, then define feedback, then describe the reason for giving feedback, describe guidelines for giving feedback, describe the guidelines for receiving feedback. So most probably communication is giving and receiving process is the entire process of communications. So let's start with definition. Communication is the process by which information is exchanged between individuals through a common system of symbols, sign, or behavior. Communication does not mean that only you have to tell something. Communication also by exchange of this information through symbols, sign, or some kinds of behavior. So all are called communication. So process, this is the process by which some information is exchanged between individuals. Between individuals, that means either more than one, that is two, or a group of people, more than two or three. So that is the exchange of information through a systems. Which systems? Whether the systems may be by talking each other, by giving some symbols, by signs, or some kinds of showing behaviors. So all are under this process of communications, right? Okay. So this communication process is a exchange of informations. Next. So there are five elements, six elements of the communication process. So let's understand one by one how this process actually works. First, one is called sender, second is encoder, third is message, fourth is receiver, fifth is decode, and sixth is feedback. These are the six elements of the communication process. So what is these things are? Let's understand one by one. Sender is someone who is giving communication. The communication process start from where? That is the sender. If you want to give some communication or some information to others, then you are the sender. Second is encode. So encode means which way the information. Information is the thing message or some data which is in within you. But when you are giving you the information through some process or some uh, types of symbols, you have to identify or encode this process. Third is the message. Whatever the inbuilt information is hidden, that is called the message. Fourth is receiver, to whom the information will be given. So that is the receiver who will receive the message. Fifth is decode. If the information is provided in the form of some code, then they have to, in order to understand this message, they have to decode. So all the things are have to understand by this message receiver by through decode. Whether the decode may be in the physical form or in mental form. If someone is telling something, then decode it can be through his mental ability. Then last is feedback. Feedback means if she or he understands or he is not, she is the must be feedback whether the process is right or not, the communication message is right or not. Then styles of communication. So there are various styles of communication are there. First is friendly and sociable. Friendly, sociable, that means there is no any certain rules and regulations to which communications can be given. So it can be friendly. Like two friends are talking each other. It is an informal way. It is friendly. Sociable. Sociable means also there is also no proper format and only you have to exchange the data or information. Second is directive and persuasive, demanding and blaming. You all knows what is the thing. Directive means you or someone give some direction to other, follow the order. Persuasive means some instructions, briefing, some guiding. Then demanding. Demanding means if you demand, if you require something, then also you have to ask, give me something. So this is demanding and blaming. If you are wrong or right, then you have to blame others. Whatever may be the things, you have to give some message to the in front of you, which person in front of you. That is the process of communication. Okay. Next is speculative, intuitive, searching, exploring, or intellectual. That is speculative means you have to exaggerate something, you have to give information about something, you have the better knowledge. Intuitive means you have some giving some guidance to other, having some SOP, standard operation procedures, or something strictly you have to giving. Then searching, if you are search something, then also you have to ask for, have you seen my this, or have you seen my pen, have you seen my box, or like that. Then exploring, if you are new to something, then you have to explore whether this process or what is in front of you, what is near by you, what are the things if you do not know, then also exploring. Or intellectual. Intellectual means of your interest due to some knowledge, to gain knowledge. If you do not know anything about something, then you have to ask, search, you have to collect information about this thing. That's called intellectual, for the own joy of knowledge. Next is disclosing, relieving, explicit, responsive, accepting, and aware. These are different kinds of information you have to accept or you have to give something. Disclosing. If you know some secrets of something, then up to you when you are alone, you just know that things that is not a communications. That is not that is secret. If you want tell the things to in front of who or some people's one or some people's, maybe that is disclosing, means you have to pass the information from yourself to others. Then revealing, that is also this kind of disclosing. If you know something and if you give some of the information to others. Explicit, implicit, explicit, that means you have to exaggerate something. That is 5% is there, but you have exaggerated to 50%. Some kinds of information you have to give. For example, ad. There are different ads are showing in our TV programs or radio programs. So we have to just see this ad, whether it's true or false, we just get attracted towards this kind of ads. So that information is properly passed through the visual ads or something. There are also different methods. There are also one kinds of encoding, decoding process. Responsives. Responsive means if somebody asks you something, or your teacher or somewhere you ask something, then you have to respond for that answer. If you understand what he is telling in front of you, then if you give proper answer, proper response to the in front persons. So that is also a process of communications. Accepting. Accepting means someone is telling something and you are accept or reject that thing. If you do not understand that word, then you do not be accept or reject that thing. So they are accepting and aware. Something the knowledge which will be part to the persons who is not having some knowledge. That means aware about environmental awareness, aware about health and safety. Both the employees are new, the persons are new, then giving training, all the things. So whether the information can be disclosed or revealing some new ideas to someone who do not have the knowledge about it, that is giving the knowledgeable awareness program. So these are different model processes of the information transfer or styles of communication. Cross-cultural communications. So cultural means that some rituals, some kinds of communications that are already in your society, in your process of all in your practices in your school. Some cultures are there in your society, some cultures are there uh, in your religion, some cultures are there. So cross cultural communication. Social courses means you have to obey some kinds of rules in society when you are stay in a society. So throw these things here, do not put this thing here or somewhere, do not follow this. So the do and don'ts that are provided in some kinds of society, some kinds of work cultures. So they are the social courses. Flow of informations. One information can be transferred from one to other, another to other, and this information continuously transferred through this communication process. If there is no communications, then information should be stopped at one place. So flow of communications, then cultural communications, that means whatever things are do and done. Then assertiveness. Assertiveness means some kind of opposed to all the society culture and all your things. If you have judge something, if you have to oppose something which is wrongly or falsely guided, then you have to mark that one. You have to oppose this thing. Then honesty. Honesty is the right word for the proper good communications. If you are honest, then you pass proper communication. Do not exaggerate or do not lie. So this is the pure communication, because someone is giving something information to you and you lie to in front of the persons. So the communication will be stop up to you, and the proper information does not be passed through you. Effective of active listening. This is also part of communications, because without listening, you cannot transfer the information to others. Because you do not understand what is the information person you are telling, then how you can be giving the information to others? So effective listening, or it's called as active listening, is very important term. So what are the word or meaning the persons are telling? That is the effective listening. So you have to first listen carefully. Active listening. Effective listening and active listening. Effective listening means someone is telling in some French language, German language, and you do not understand, even if you listen carefully, but you do not understand the wording of these things or do not know the language, then that is not effective listening. That may be active listening. You heard all the things, but you do not understand. That means decoding. The decode is not proper for you. So that is effective listening. Means you have to understand the languages, the meanings of every word who is in front of telling to you. That is the effective listening. Then active listening, content or feeling. Active listening means whatever the someone is telling, you have to actively listen that thing and understand through your feelings. For example, in your class teacher is teaching and you are busy in making drawing, busy in conversation. So although you are hearing your class teacher, that means the words are not feeling, not encoding in your brain. It is passed from one ear to passed out from other ears. So that is not effective or active listening. If you are listening but not active, so that is the two word. Effective listening and active listening is the most important for the effective communications or good communications. If you do not understand, do not listen, then you cannot pass the information to in front of your persons. So deterrence to effective or active listening. So that means what are the different kinds of things that can be the deterrence means this is barriers of this listening. Assuming in advance. So before you listening, you know, yes, this is I know very well. So first listen what the in front of the person what is telling. Just listen carefully. If you do not listen, then that is not called the active listening. Sorry for the disturbance. Okay. So these are some points for active listening. Okay. So deterrence or effective listening, assuming in advance. So listen carefully. Do not assume whatever the information is there. Mentally criticizing. So clearly listen part. You do not criticize this information. Listening only to the facts, outlining everything, permitting the speaker to be inaudible, avoid technical messages, overreacting, withdrawal attentions. These are the different forms of effective listening, different effective listening. Elements of effective listening, so content, so the information which to be passed from one to another. So what information, what is the content? The subject being addressed. So which subject is addressed? That is the important persons, important things, whether it is properly, the subject is properly addressed or not. Okay. Then subject is being addressed, which subject we have to listen. Second is feeling, emotion displayed when discussing the subject. If someone is telling something and there is emotionless, then the listening person having also neglect this thing. So whatever you are going to tell, feel or tell this thing with emotions and some kinds of signs. So that is called feelings with feeling. Emotion is entered into the displayed person of this thing, then it will be very much effective. Third is the process, the manner the speaker delivers the subject matter. Which way someone, if someone is giving a talk in your school or in your college, if the person, how if the it is effective talk or not. So is standing in front of you or just telling by seeing the blackboard or interacting with you. Which is the most important effective? So the process with the deliver, the talk deliver, that is important. Then clarifications. Question asked to seek understanding. Because all are not going to be understand, then if you immediately ask the questions to the deliberate of persons, if you do not understand the thing, you have to get proper communication. Then active listening skills, they are check attitudes and atmosphere, whether it is correct way, correct time for telling something or not. Then also you have to learn, listen and all the things. But if the person is angry and if you are going to talk with that point, then it is not the correct time. If someone is having some difficult situations and you are asking some difficult questions, that is not correct way. So when there is a need or when there is a correct atmosphere, at that point you have to give the information for listening the things. Keep the channels open to avoid short circuits. That means all things are which is information is passed, then you have to ask questions and give questions. In listen and process it is carefully. That's why everyone can be talk to you and their doubts also their doubts. If do not solve the doubt, do not understand, then it is not effective. Then listening queries response from listeners. If you are giving a talk, then what are the listeners they want to tell you, or what is the doubt of the persons if you are listening. You have to understand all the things. Keep the door open. That means you have to clearly say that if the doubt is there, then you are free to discuss with you because you are giving the talk, deliver the talk. So that's where the persons which are in front of you, they are also having some qualifications, then they may ask and open the door for others. Methods of improving listening skill, that is try to understand the intent of the listening of the main points. So the points understands or intent or it is main point. So just listen everything actively and uh, precisely. Listen now, clarify later. So this is the improvement because someone is giving something talk. In between, if you interrupt, then what happen? They may not be able to complete the information, give the information. So you have to just finish all the note, all the points you do not understand. And after that, the talk is over. You have just ask and clarify each point. Then concentrate on the message, not the persons. What is the person, how it looks like, how it dresses up. You do not just concentrate the person's appearance. Concentrate what he want to tell you. What is the message? That is the important for the active listening. Analyze your reactions as your listens. So when you listen that thing, you understand or do not understand, your reaction tells it. So if you do not understand, ask them clearly or do not react like a dumb or do not react like a computer or some machines. Just listen with feelings. If you do not understand, clarify it. Method to test understanding. So whether the persons is giving information, whether all persons are understand or not. So you have to check whether it is understandable or not. So there are three methods for understanding. One is called parroting, second is called paraphrasing, third is called clarifying. Parroting. So have you seen parrot? Parrot, whatever you are going to repeat, parrot doesn't understand and just repeat it. So that is called parroting. Just telling something without understand. That's called parroting. If this type of information is passed or information is talking, then it is not advisable because the important persons or the information may be missed or maybe may not be explained clearly. So that is called parroting. So do not be parroting. Just understand, then say what is going right or wrong. Then paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is one kind of passing information with your own words. Same meaning is same, subject is same, but according to your wording, pass the information or decode the information. This is called paraphrasing. Do not copy or do not parroting. Parroting is just copying. But paraphrasing is understand the meaning of the subject, then pass the information in front of you through your own words, own examples. This is very good for passing the information. Then clarifying. Clarifying is very much advanced and good methods because if you understand what is the thing clearly, then you can clarify the doubts of the listener. So that is most important points, that is clarifying. Practical exercise. Let's see whether it is right or wrong. Take a 10-minute break, and if two persons are in front of you, then if you tell something and just come back after 10 minutes, and you have to ask that thing whether you understand or not. That is the practical exercise. Johari window model. So what is Johari window model? It will go over. First, there are four blocks are there. First is called arena. Second is called blind spot. Third is called cascade. And D is the unknown. So what is arena? Arena A, that means block A, things I know, things you know. That means whatever the things I know, I will explain and you also know. Both persons are the receiver and sender. Both are clear about the message. This is the arena. Blind spot. That means things I do not know about myself that you know. That means you do not know something, but your listener is knowing that thing. That is your blind spot. That is the blind spot. C is the cascade. That means you do not know that I know. That means the listener does not know, but the information passer or the expert talk who is giving talk who is knowing. That means it does not understand, does not able to understand or clarify that thing. That is called cascade. Then unknown. Things you do not know and things I do not know. Both persons, the receiver and senders, both does not know the things or information clearly. That is the unknown. So you have to check whether which category you are there. So arena is the good model because you know the information and also able to explain the information to your listener. So this is also there's a physical Johari model, known to others, known to yourself. That is, you have to know whatever others are knowing. That is arena. Then known to yourself, but known to others. Unknown. You do not know about something yourself, but your feelings or something is known by others. That is a blind spot. You are a blind spot. And cascade is known. You will know about you, but other person does not know about you. It is cascade. And both persons are does not know each other. Then that is called unknown. So last person is effective feedback. So what is feedback? Something I will explain about you, and I just take feedback whether you are giving proper answer or not. So last is a question answer session, that is called feedback. So verbal and non-verbal communications to a persons or grouping, providing information as to how their behavior is affecting or influencing to you to know this is called effective feedback. Verbal and non-verbal communication. That means verbal means you have to tell something. Non-verbal means by the signaling something, by uh, give some signals or some code, that's called non-verbal from your other persons. And return back what is the, if the person is understand or not, then the return back that things, and to check your past information is correct, that influence the other or not, that is through the feedback. Reason for giving and receiving feedback. Why we are interested to this feedback is very much important, because there are four things are there. Personal growth, whether you are able to understand, able to clarify the doubts, whether you are a good speaker or not, a good communicator or not, you to know that well you have to take feedback. That is for personal growth. Find about self. That means whether you are good or bad, that you can find yourself, gain insights. So is the whether your talk is very effective or not. That is, you can gain insight whether the information you provide is correct or not. They are listening, they are only just listening, or they are understanding. You have to know through this feedback. Then open environment. So open environment means whether all you are giving some talk or passing some information about a single field. But in audience there are lots of people who are different backgrounds. Whether every background, every environment people they are listening or not, they are having passing the information or not, you have to check. Guidelines for giving feedback. So how these feedbacks can be given? First is specific rather than general, because if you are giving the information is a particular kind of thing, so even if the general peoples are there, but you are specific about the clear cut about your topic or subject, focus on behavior. You just check whether the listeners in front of you, they what is the behavior of. If you mark some unusual behavior, that means you understand this person is not understanding you. Take account into these needs on the receiver. So that is also you check whether the receiver is actively listening all these things. So you have to interference about it. Solicited, that means you have to check whether the information is correct or not, or they are properly decoded or not. Sharing the information rather than advice. That is advice, giving advice and share the information, both are different things. Advice means you do not just giving the information, but you do not apply on yourself. But the sharing information means you just apply the information on yourself, you understand the part, then also you just give some advice to others. So that is the sharing information. So rather than just advice, you have to share information and apply in or your part. Well timed. So proper timing, proper situation should be there for giving for passing the information. So find proper timing to the giving information so that your communications or information should be mostly effective. Involve the amount of information receivers can use. So how the receivers judge your receivers, whether it is a child or it is a old age or whether it is some different background. According to you, you can just pass the information. If you are giving information to some school children, and you are talking some important scientific knowledge that is of your PG level, so that is not good communication. Even if you telling by forcefully to the children they are not receiving you. Even they are actively listening, they do not understand what is the thing because that is not the level of the children. Similarly, if you telling some scientific things to a history background, then it is also not a proper communication. So first judge whether the information you are telling the audience are right or wrong. According to their receiver's knowledge, you have to pass the information. Check for clear communications. Whether if your communication is listening or not there, or it is audible or not, because they are a large room, you do not have mic. So whether they are not able to listen properly. So whether you, the past information is whether clearly audible or receiver or thing, that is check about this. Evaluate, not judge. Judging and evaluate both are different things. Judging means you have to just say the right or wrong according to your thing. That is the judge. But evaluate is something you have to give answer the give some questions, and according to the answers of the things you have to think, you have to know whether the your communication is effective or not. So that is the thing. How to give feedback? When the other person has medicated willingness to receive it. That is the important way. Because if you are asking some feedback and in front of you, the person is does not want to listen you and does not in a mood for giving some answers to you, then it is not effective. Even if you are asking, he is not able to give the proper answers. So unsolicited feedback. Unsolicited means if you are asking some unauthorized information, some personal questions that is not relevant to your subject, that is also not giving proper feedbacks. That is not work. Use terms that describe rather behaviors with the less amount of the interpretations and they actually describe the behaviors. Use terms that describe other behaviors. So you have to use these different English good terms that interprets the behaviors of the in front of the timing and be timely. That means every there where there it should be time. So proper use proper time, and if you are asking for giving information within the 10 minutes, and if you are telling for 30 minutes 1 hour, then the persons in front of you they are giving they are bored and do not understand like active mood and then it is not a proper way of information giving information. How to receive feedbacks? Be non-defensive. If someone is giving some answer or someone is not arguing you, then you do not be in a defense mode. Just say, oh, yes, it is very good. We will discuss in later. Like you have to understand what is the motive of the persons. Ask for more information. If you do not understand something, then you have to just clearly check. Please start describe. You can again elaborate these things like that. Say what do not want the feedback. Say that you do not want feedback. So this kind of things. So you do not actually feedback is something which is not given by others. It should be extract the information whether information is passed or not correctly. So this is kind of feedback. What to do with feedbacks? If you receive the feedback, then what you have to do in your thing. So you have to think about it. That means whether your process of communication is good or not, that you have to check. Use it. Use the feedback to clarify in next time, or use the feedback to better passing the information in next time. So you have to use in future. Then forget it. If something is wrong, if something is some kinds of defensive thing or something is unrelevant, just forget it and you have to move forward. Lastly, definition of communication. The overall summary is the definition of communications. Elements of the communication process, cross-cultural communications, describe effective and effective listenings, identify determinants and effective listenings, identify methods, enhancing listenings, feedback, define feedback, describe the reason for the feedback, describe the feedback. So this is all about the communication process. So let's go again from missile thing. So communication is a process with the information be exchanged individual through a symbols of the whether it is verbal or non-verbal. So there are five elements of communication: sender, encode, message, receiver, decode, back. Just note down it. Okay. The rest of this effective communications of area we will discuss in next week. So there are more next two classes and we will cover all the courses.